I am so excited. I had Rhi here for dinner this evening.
It was really good.
And she wanted us, we're actually so, honestly, I was like, I don't have the energy to speak live. But we decided that we were going to do a little Facebook Live and chat to you guys and talk about a couple of questions that Rhi had on her post that she did. So we will answer some of your fitness and nutrition questions, because we are always so passionate about sharing education and hopefully helping you guys make some informed decisions with your exercise and your nutrition. So I'm going to hand over to Rhi, and she can start with the questions. And hopefully we'll keep it nice and short, don't worry, we know it's Thursday evening. But
we were just literally saying Thursday evening, not long to the weekend, so don't worry at all. But so many of you always ask me lots of questions to do with fitness as well, and obviously as a nutritionist, Alice is always my go-to, you know, if I have any questions at all about anything. And even if I see someone else, I tend to run stuff by Alice. So a lot of you were asking ways to kind of, how do you find a comfortable balance with exercise? So how much should you be doing? What's a normal amount? I mean, that must be individual, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, it depends on your goals. So I always get asked, like, how many times do you train a week? Or how many times should I be training a week? And specifically, actually, recently, like, how many HIIT sessions should I be doing? How many LIST sessions? Like, there's all these buzzwords, and people are getting quite concerned about how many times they should be doing that. I think it's really, really important that you don't obsess over the amount of times that you're doing the exercise. I don't advise anyone train more than 5 days a week. I think we need at least
2 rest days.
I think we need at least 2 rest days. That being said, you know, there are people like Shona, for example, who says she trains in some way every day, and it really does depend on what works for you. I also think that, like I said, it really does come down to your goals. Like if you've got things that you want to achieve. So for example, for me, you know, I'm working on my deadlifts and my glute and hamstring strength.
She did. Tell everyone, how much did you lift today? This is ridiculous.
100 kg.
I came in saying I've done my first ever 40 kilo deadlift, and Alice just did 100.
But the thing is that's taken me 3 years to get there. So it's really important that you don't try and rush things. But yeah, so basically, my first answer is, okay, well, what are your goals? If you've got goals that are like strength-based, I'd say, okay, well, we need to be training that muscle maybe at least 2 to 3 times a week. And then on top of that, maybe look at doing a little bit of conditioning. Look, every case is so individual, but I think what the most important thing is to say is that rest days are really, really important too, because whatever your goal is, if you're fatiguing and if you're running yourself into the ground because you're not allowing your body to rest, then you're never going to reach that goal because you're only going to come a cropper along the line. So yeah, making sure that you take at least 1 to 2 rest days a week, and make sure that your nutrition is matching your training as well, and making sure that you're fueling that training so that you are able to recover efficiently.
I can't even begin to tell you how many questions I get saying, what do you eat on a rest day? Or, can everyone hear us okay?
Yeah, I'm just seeing what they're saying. I'm not live on Instagram because I just need to work out how I switch off like the weird comments.
I swear I spent Alice did this Facebook Live yesterday of Rupi, which I'm sure you saw, but I spent the whole night blocking people on your live Instagram.
I think basically there's a way of me switching it off so that only people that follow me can comment or tune in, but I'm not quite sure how I do that yet, so that is why we are only live on Facebook, excuse me.
On Facebook Live, we can swipe up on Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll do a little link. Yeah, we'll do a different thing later, but something that came up as well was, I did this on a course recently, one of the diplomas I was studying, and they said it doesn't matter how quickly you do it, it's the distance that you do, for things like walking or running. I mean, how does that apply? If someone were to say, well, I'm doing an hour walk a day, it's the distance and the speed, isn't it? Is that a different kind of thing?
Yeah, so it comes down to intensity. So obviously, like, it depends in what way you're quantifying that. So if it's caloric burn, obviously your energy expenditure is going to be far greater if you're running at a higher intensity than if you're doing a slow, leisurely walk.
Yeah.
So in that circumstance, I'd look at, well, what energy system do you want to train? Do you want to improve your cardiovascular fitness?
Yeah.
If you do, then I'd look at doing a slightly higher intensity form of CV training. If you're just concerned with general health and well-being, and you don't like running, it might be that you just take a
mood boost.
Yeah, exactly. Just take a walk. But yeah, it really does come down to intensity, of course, rather than looking at the distance travelled or whatever.
Yeah, I find that really interesting because one of your questions as well was, how do I kind of boost my mood or find kind of a happy medium? I think what Alice touched on before was really interesting seeing a lot with my clients and on social media, and Alice and I talk about this a lot.
Yeah, we had the same. So we've both had a couple of clients that have come in and been like quite, what were you going to say, like obsessively.
Yeah, exercising, and I think you have to find what works for you perfectly, but Alice and I have both been in a situation where we've realised what works for our bodies and what doesn't. I mean, I know I'm much more of a Pilates person, even though I'm trying to test new things at the moment, but you've got to find what kind of works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, as I said in the chat yesterday with Rupi, it's really important that we don't hail one exercise as like the holy grail of weight loss or of muscle gain or of anything, because there's lots of different ways to achieve the same goal, and actually we shouldn't really be looking to achieve anything but health. And if health is like is your optimal goal and that's what you're trying to achieve, then there's so many ways to do that. And if that means that you enjoy doing yoga, do yoga. If that means that you like doing swimming, do swimming. You know, I am never going to be a PT that will restrict my client to doing a certain way of doing things. I'm really, really open to doing whatever my client wants to do. And actually, like, in all of my initial consultations, I ask, like, what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy? Because it's really important that I'm mindful of that, and that I'm mindful of programming and perhaps tailoring what they're doing to something that they really enjoy, because they're far more likely to stick to something if they enjoy it. And I know that that's like a stuck record that I've said a million times, but it's true. You're far more likely to adhere to a program or to stick to something if there's something in there that you really enjoy, or that you feel like there's a reason to go back and carry on doing it.
Because it works the same with food.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it works exactly the same with nutrition, guys. There is not one rule that fits all. So just because a book says you should be paleo doesn't mean you should be paleo to achieve results. You are genetically unique, and this is a conversation I had with Giles Yo when I did my Facebook Live with him, is that calories, I'm sorry, but it should be about nutrients, not numbers. 1 calorie will work differently in Alice's body to mine. We are all genetically different, and every single day your needs change. So one day you need more, one day you need less, you need different balances of micronutrients and macronutrients. And to get your goals from exercise, you really need to be wary of, like what Alice just said before, the intensity. You need to be thinking, am I doing this just to kind of leisurely, for instance, I'll go in the morning sometimes and do literally 20 minutes of cycling or walking on a treadmill just because
you've
makes
done
me feel
something
good.
and you feel good for it. So that's,
but I know I'm not burning loads, but that's okay.
I think, I mean, like you said, the moral of the story is everyone is an individual, and I think anyone that preaches to you that doing things a certain way is the only way, then you just need to say, thank you so much, but goodbye, because that's wrong. And I actually think it can be really damaging for people to feel as though they need to fit into a box. Like, I think there's lots of kind of literature out there, and lots of bloggers, and lots of people that might follow a certain sort of style of doing things, that then makes it feel as though everyone's doing it, therefore I must place myself into that box. And people can make themselves miserable believing that they have to go to the gym to look a certain way, or they have to do X, Y, or Z. And actually, that's the crux of it, is that it's to look a certain way, and actually, if you thought about what it is that you want to be, it's, well, I want to feel happy, and I want to feel healthy, and what am I going to be able to do that's going to help me get there? Well, if that means that it's not going to the gym and finding a different way of doing things, then cool, that's okay. And you might, and you might not fit into that little like box that you think you want to, that you think you need to be in. But actually, are you going to be happier? Are you going to be able to sustain what you're doing? Chances are yes. So keep going, and don't feel as though you have to follow the crowd. Like, being a sheep is not cool.
Oh no, definitely not. We weren't sheep at school.
No.
That's why we had.
Actually,
I had no friends.
Actually, I kind of was. I'm going to disagree with you. I kind of was a sheep, and now I'm not a sheep.
That's good.
Yeah, like I definitely was a sheep. I was always needing to be told what to do, and I think that's why I followed diets for so long. Because I believed that someone in a magazine was going to tell me how best to fuel my body, and that living off diet soups and low-fat yogurt was the right way. And you know, I just believed it. I was very gullible, and now I'm like, I'm not going to let anyone decide out of what I do, because I know my body best, and I'm sure you guys are all going to be sitting at home saying, actually, you know your body better than anyone.
You really do, and it comes with nutrition. I find half the time, it's just like Alice was a thing to do, and I didn't have the education, but I have a struggle trying to tell my clients what we can put in, but people are always telling you what you can take out. So there's so much focus on what should you be taking out, what should you not be having. Well, actually, let's try and think about what you can have and what benefit it's going to give your body. We're too obsessed with thinking on cutting things all the time. The same with exercise, you know, what you should be doing rather than the array of variety or the things your body can magically do. Not one way or one thing is going to fit all. And I think mood, and at the moment there's a lot in the news, guys, about mental health. And this is something I know Alice and I both feel really passionately on, from personal and client business relationship. It affects, everyone knows someone that has been touched or affected by mental health. And there are so many studies out there that say diet and exercise can help. Now, we're not saying it's going to alleviate every symptom under the sun. No, we know that's not realistic. However, if there's something you can do, it's worth a try. And in all honesty, moving and going for a walk, if that's all you can do, it will lift your mood. It's a good thing to do. I don't know if you have anything to add on that, if there's any exercises or things people can do, even if they're not that mobile, that can lift mood.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's important to find the balance. I think, like, that word has become such a buzzword, and it annoys me to use it, but it is necessary in some situations. Like, there's definitely a balance with exercise. So you need to do enough in order to make you feel like you're, you know, moving and you're happy and you're healthy, but not too much to the point where it becomes, oh, sorry, there's a bit of road rage.
There's a really loud horn outside.
But not too much to the point where you develop anxiety over, you know, I haven't trained, I can't get to the gym, I haven't done 45 minutes on the treadmill, or, you know, those kind of things. So it's really about making sure that our little seesaw, not too much, not too little. You know, my favourite saying in life is that everything is good for us in moderation, and it's the same could be said for exercise. You know, too much and you're going to run yourself into the ground. Too little and you might, you know, things like, I'm not just talking about the way you look, but things like your bone health and your mobility and just general functionality of your body. As we get older, that's going to decrease. So it's really important that we just keep moving. Otherwise, there has been a lot of evidence to show muscle atrophy and, you know, just a decrease in your general ability to move.
So you have sarcopenia as we age. People lose muscle mass.
Exactly. So I think, look, it's really, really important that we're not saying that you need to be going hell for leather in the gym, and we're also not saying you need to do nothing. It's about finding that happy medium place where you're doing enough to keep you going, to keep you moving, you're enjoying yourself. But yeah.
I think it's staying active, and some top tips for nutrition stuff as well. I mean, to lift your mood, question first of all, are you getting any omega-3 in your diet? There's lots of research now that suggests that, you know, your healthy fats, and that would be your oily fish, your nuts, your seeds. I mean, that is amazing for cognition. It's also amazing for anti-inflammatory kind of properties. And I know that one of the questions under my feed, this is going off topic a little bit, was how do I prevent an injury? Well, nutritionally speaking, your joints need to be okay. Remember, aesthetic goals may be on the horizon, but you've got to look at your bones, and you've got to look at the skeleton that's holding you up every day.
Yeah, and it's important to know that any injury is going to be healed through obviously seeing professionals, seeing something like a physio or you know, whatever specialist person you need to see, but also that rehabilitation and that treatment that you might get is also then supported by a good diet, because it's all very well going to see X, Y, or Z to help with your injury, but it's really important that you're healing from the inside out as well. I'm sure that's what Reed's probably touching on.
100%. I mean, in terms of mood boosting foods as well.
Just a disclaimer. I said healing from the inside out. Obviously, like, you can't heal from the inside out. I'm sorry. What I meant is that
I didn't even notice that.
What I meant is that it's really important to support whatever rehabilitation you're doing for any injury with good nutrition, obviously.
Yeah, and of course, if you're injured, the worst thing you could do would probably be to keep exercising on something that you know is telltale signs are really important. You know, if you know you're coming down with something like your tonsils are up, is that a myth that people say if it's from here above you can exercise, or what's your view on that?
My best advice is, if you're feeling unwell to the point that you're questioning whether you should exercise, chances are you probably shouldn't exercise, and chances are you probably feel a hell of a lot better if you gave it a rest day and you went home and rested and came back the next day and probably felt a lot better.
Exactly.
I think, you know, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say, you know, if it's above here or if it's below there.
Yeah.
But I generally go by, if my client comes to me and they're like, you know, I'm really not feeling well, don't train. It's one day out of 365. Is it 365? Yeah. In a year.
I have to think about that.
And the impact of that lack of training is going to be negligible on your total year of moving. So it's really important that we look at overall health, that you think about the actual, you know, what's going to happen if you don't train. What is the worst thing? Nothing. Like, you're probably going to feel a hell of a lot better if you just go home, have a lemon sip, and just rest yourself. Yeah.
I think resting is so important. I mean, in terms of, from a nutritional perspective on all of that, guys, you have to remember that if you're healing from something, your body still needs energy, okay? So I know sometimes the last thing you feel like doing if you've had an accident or something's happened is some people either turn to food or turn against it. It's kind of a natural progression that we have when we're protecting ourselves. So you kind of go either way. It's very rare you get someone that's down the middle. I know a few, but it usually is one or the other. Now, if you are injured, you actually do need a little bit more protein in your diet to help with any repair, especially if it's a muscular injury that we're talking about. We're talking about exercise and nutrition here. We're not talking about any chronic illnesses or conditions. Let's just put that out there now. But you have to remember that you need to feed your body with fuel, and it needs to be above the normal amount you would have, just a small fraction, just to enable that repair, or you'll be stuck at that place for a little bit longer than you could possibly be. I mean, Alice knows how much it sucks to be injured. I mean, it puts you right out for weeks. It's not worth it. And you have to think about the variety. So you're also wanting to heal your gut health. If you've been put on antibiotics, painkillers, lots of different stuff, you want to be making sure that you're really looking after your nutrition. You want to be getting colour in your diet. You know, the dinner we had tonight, Alice cooked the most colourful dinner in the world. I came here and I was like, oh, I'm not that hungry now, I'm really tired. But she whipped up this amazing veggie ragu. And we probably had, like, 4 of our 10 a day in one meal?
Yeah, it was yummy.
It was really, really good. It was really good. So just always try and get that kind of thing in there. I can't read the comments from here because I'm sure it's lighted.
So we'll reply to the comments afterwards. I think it's best if we wrap it up because I'm honestly so sleepy tonight. It's been a really long day for me, and
I need to get back to North London,
and she needs to get home. I hope you found this useful. It's just nice to sometimes have a little chat and drop in and give you guys some nice fun advice that hopefully you can, you know, take and use to your advantage. So I'm going to say good night. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Bye guys.